Hi guys, it is December 20th, 2021. I had to start over because I said the wrong year. um, and I'm here to do a video. I'm very, very late. I looked and my last video was on September 12th. And my friends all did videos when they got home from Stitch West, and Laurel's a slacker. I didn't do a video. But so here I am. So this is going to be from like September until now. Um, and there's a lot of stash. In fact, it's sort of stash highlights because I did go to Stitch West in October, and it was great fun. We did a lot of shopping. We spent a lot of money. We went to Shepherd's Bush. We went to Stitchery Express. They had several vendors at the event itself. I bought some stuff from some of those vendors I'm going to show you. You can go check out their Instagram, check out their Facebook, check out their websites, give them some love. And so this is sort of going to be the highlights, because if I showed you everything that I've gotten since September between Stitch West and between my own shopping, we'd be here for 2 days. We're not going to do that. So, but I'll show you what I've stitched on since then too. Stitch West was a lot of fun. I didn't do very much stitching, despite despite the girls at my table going, Laura, what are you going to stitch on? Laura, what are you stitching on? Why aren't you stitching? Pick up your needle. I didn't do a lot of stitching. Did a lot of talking, did a lot of eating, did a lot of shopping. Didn't do a lot of stitching. But we had a good time. There were a lot of laughs. A lot of sort of inside jokes that have arisen from Stitch West, things that happened at Stitch West. I'm not going to get into it too much because Sammy put up a video about it. Vicky Gable put up a video about it. Sarah put up a video about it. There's been lots of videos about Stitch West. But it was a lot of fun. I had a good time. So, yeah. We had a good time, but by the time it was over, we were ready to go home. We were tired, and we're like, it's been fun. It's sad that it's over, but we're ready to go home. So we were sad to leave, but we were glad to go home. So I'll show you some of the stash from that later, and some of the things I got from some of my friends. But let's start with what I've stitched on since September. September was a really bad stitching month. I did not do very well in September at all. I went back and watched the stitching part of my last video, and I was talking about how I was trying to finish Quaker game board. That I was doing, like, I wasn't stitching on it, and it was going to be hard to finish it that way. Yeah, so I ended up with 7 zombie run miles in September instead of 10, which is 1,400 stitches. And I think I had put 200 stitches in a Stitch for Sweet Freedom. So I ended up with 1,600 miles for the month, which even for me is not very good. The girls on Virtual Stitchers like to make jokes about Laurel never stitches and why aren't you stitching, but I usually do more than 1,600 stitches. Even for me, 1,600 stitches isn't a lot. So luckily for me, as far as Zombie Run goes, I had done 2 extra miles in August, so I was 1 mile ahead. So that worked out. And then wait till we get to November. So actually, I'll just tell you because I'm not trying to. Well, no, I won't tell you. I'll tell you when we get there. So let's start with. I've had 2 finishes since I saw you last. My first finish, I was trying to finish in September. I didn't get there. I took it to Stitch West with me. I didn't really work on it too much. In fact, there was a lot of drama around it because I pulled it out. I went to work on it, realized I had left some of the thread colors at home. We were going to uh, Stitchery Express that day. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just get the colors I need at Stitchery Express, which I did. But then I got back and I tried to stitch with them and I realized, shockingly enough, 15 years later, the dye lots don't match. And I'm like, I'm not really very happy with the matches to the dye lots. Like, it's very noticeable that they're not the same. So I wasn't really very happy with that. And so I ended up not really doing a lot of work on it at Stitch West. But I came home and I had my right thread colors. So I kind of started pushing towards finishing it. And I finished it on October 25th. And in fact, another fun story. So we went to Stitchery Express, and the next day, at the end of the night, we could leave our stuff in the stitching room at the end of the night because it was locked, like nobody was going to be in there overnight. But I had taken my stash that I had bought at Stitchery Express back to the hotel room. I didn't leave it in the stash room, and then or in the stitching room. The next day when I came back to the stitching room, I had left the thread colors I had just bought in the hotel room because Laurel's brilliant. So it turned out that Janlynn, was coming over to pick up Vicky, and I think they were going back to Stitchery Express, and she was coming over to pick them up, and so Vic called me a name because she's Vic, but then Jen took me back to the hotel room, got my thread, got me a bottle of water, and then brought me back to the hotel before she took Vic and Sammy. But Vic was making fun of me. So, anyway, I finished on October 25th. I finished my Quaker game board. This is Quaker game board by Papillon Creations. And do I have something that I can put behind it to make it show better? I don't know. Maybe. You think if I put my project bag behind it, it would work? That's sort of better, I guess. You can't really see it that well on camera. I'll bring it in closer so you can see that all of those squares that look blank at a distance actually have the alphabet in them. There's a few that have the numbers in them. There's one that has a date in it, has my initials in it. So there is my finished Quaker game board by Papillon Creations. I started this in 2006, and I was all gung-ho on it when I first started it, and then I kind of ran out of steam. I don't know why. Actually, what probably happened, I don't know why. I was working a late shift. I was working in the call center. I was working in the late shift because when you first get to the call center, back then, when you first got to the call center, they would put you on 10 to 6:30. But because of the way the buses ran earlier, or they don't run earlier, they run better during rush hour, which is not at 10. So I would get there at 8 or 8:30. And so I would have a little bit of time and I would sit there at my desk and stitch until it was time to clock in. And so this is what I was working on when I was waiting to clock in. And what may have happened, and I'm not really sure, is I only stayed on that shift for about 3 months and I moved back to the 8 o'clock shift. And then I didn't have any time to stitch before work, and I don't know what happened. I didn't stitch on it at home. I don't know why I stopped stitching on it, but probably moving to the 8 o'clock shift had something to do with it. But it sat there, and maybe I got distracted by other shiny things, but it sat there until I pulled it out a little bit in 2016 because I was supposed to be stitching on it with Mackenzie. I did a little bit, not very much, and then in 2020 I pulled it out and started working on it. So there it is, and it's all finished up. So this was my third finish for 2021. I finished Raspberry Homecoming, I finished Jane Austen, I finished Quaker Game Board. And this is also a finish off of my 2012 list. And I've explained this before, that I have a list of everything that I had going as of January 1st, 2012. And then everything I've started after that is on a separate list. So this is another finish off that list. And this is all done in Gentle Arts. I think this is the called for fabric. I don't even know what it is. I think this is the called for fabric, and it's all done in Gentle Arts Samplerhood. So that's my finish. It's so pretty. And then the other finish this year, or this, since my last video, I finished my oldest WIP. This, I've told this story on previous videos. I started this in high school. In fact, when I posted on Instagram, I tagged one of my high school friends and said, "Hey, do you remember this?" As far as I know, she has not answered me. I don't really know how often she checks her Instagram, but she has not answered me. But I was hoping to finish it over Thanksgiving, and I decided I'm going to make a big push on it on Thanksgiving weekend. I had 5 days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Thursday was a loss. I spent it at my mom's, didn't do any stitching. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I stitched. I made a lot of progress, but on Monday night, I was still too far away to finish it Monday night. In fact, I'm gonna look on here. I want to see exactly where I was on at the end of uh, October, or not at the end of October, at the end of November. Oh no, at the end of October. Okay, so this is where I was at the end of October. I had finished the stitching on the yellow and green house, but I hadn't backstitched it, and I had started the stitching on the schoolhouse. That's where I was at the end of October. So in November, actually, let's just do it this way. So in November, I backstitched the yellow house. I stitched and backstitched the schoolhouse. I stitched and backstitched the lighthouse. And I stitched the church. So when I ended November, I just had to backstitch the church. And I backstitched the church on December 1st. Thankfully, there was not a lot of backstitch on the church. It's not like the houses. But I finished it on December 1st. So I didn't make it Thanksgiving weekend, but I finished it on the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. So this was my oldest WIP. This is from 1994, and I finished it on December 1st, 2021. And this is Victorian Village Ornaments, in case you hadn't figured that out by now. So, and I cut the ornaments all apart, so I'm going to show them to you. This is the candy store. I should maybe have something behind these, huh? The yellow and blue house. These are in the order that I stitched them. This is the yellow and blue house. These are the two that I did in high school. The candy store and the yellow and blue house. This is the Firehouse, which I started in high school, but then when I went to pick it up again, I had to frog it, because when I went to pick it up again, I had lost a bunch of the kit threads, and I ended up having to kit it up in DMC to finish it, and the DMC threads, of course, don't match the kit threads, and I had made some mistakes, so I frogged this, and I redid this one from scratch. And then the gazebo. with a Christmas tree in it. The blue and white house. This is one of my favorites. The village store. This is another one of my favorites. This is sort of like an orange rust color and green, which this is one of my not favorites. This might be my least favorite one. It's kind of grown on me, but it's not my favorite. The brown and yellow house. This is sort of like a gingerbread house. I really like this one. It looks like a gingerbread house. The yellow and green house. On this one, I was really surprised by the green. On the picture it looked like it was gray or brown. I was really surprised when it came out to be a green. And actually these are really close to my high school colors. My high school colors were green and gold. And let me tell you, at graduation, the girls were really upset that we had to wear the gold because it was not very flattering on anybody. The schoolhouse, the lighthouse, and the church. The church and the schoolhouse are also among my favorites. The schoolhouse is just adorable. And I like the church too. So there's my fourth finish for 2021 and my oldest WIP, Victorian Village Ornaments by Janlynn. You can find it on eBay for like $20 if you're interested. There's usually a few of them out there, and they're not very expensive. And I cut them all apart. I have not FFO'd them. They don't have backings, and they don't have hangers. I put them in a Ziploc bag to keep them together, keep them clean, keep them from getting lost or separated. But they're done, and that was my fourth finish, my oldest WIP. Hold on. I was very excited about that. What else have I been working on? I've been working on Moon Garden. I will show you what that looks like. This is by Blackbird Designs. There's Moon Garden by Blackbird Designs. I'm stitching this before sending the chart on to Zeb. And this week, this has been my work project a lot. I've been taking this project to work with me when I work in the office. I've kind of hit that point where I feel like I'm on the downhill side. Like, if I worked on it, I could finish it. And in fact, I'm going to be off until January 3rd, and if I really pushed on this, I think I could maybe finish it before the end of the year. I'm not really going to do that, but I think maybe I could if I tried. But there's my Moon Garden. I need, like, those boards like Gary and Ronnie have. So there's my Moon Garden. I finished all of the willow that's attached to the flower, all of those leaves. Everything that goes on the flower is on there now. I gotta fill in some of the other colors to finish out the flower and fill in the leaves and stuff. But everything that is attached to the stem is accounted for now. And I started, you can see right there, that's the bottom of the moon. Right there. And there's still the alphabet and the words Moon Garden and the border and a couple of other motifs that go on there. But I started to feel like I'm If I really focused on this, I could finish it. There's Moon Garden, and this will be a finish next year. This is going to be a priority to finish next year. And I will send the chart off to Zeb. And then my fairy. This is The Littlest Fairy by charted by Hayde, artwork by Selena Fennick. And this is where she is. I've gotten a little bit discouraged on her. I don't know if it comes across on the camera, but in the mushroom stem right here, there's like I have two skeins of 762, and I guess they're not quite the same dye lot. And I'm a little bit discouraged because when I look at it, I can see, oh, that's where the they don't quite match. So I've been putting, I think I've only been putting 200 stitches in her every month. So I haven't done a ton of work on her, but I'm at about 71%, maybe 72%. I haven't done a ton, but there she is. She's pretty. I really only need like 1,000 stitches to finish page 2. And I think I need about 3,000, 3,200 stitches maybe to finish the whole thing. Maybe a little more than that. Might be 3,400, 3,600. But, so she's going to be a finish next year too. But I got to work out this dye lot thing. I was showing it to my friends, and they're like, it looks natural. It looks like, it's not a big deal. But it kind of bugs me. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. So, she's been getting kind of neglected because I'm kind of discouraged on that one. And then since I finished Quaker Game Board, I got to put a new project in my zombie run. And the project I chose was this one. And I'm not sure if I've shown this on here before or not. So I used to be in the EGA, and I'm not sure if I've told this story or not either. I used to be in the EGA, and every year the EGA did an event. It was the weekend before Super Bowl. They may have moved it to the weekend of Super Bowl. Or they moved it back a week. I think Super Bowl moved back a week, and so they moved it back a week. It was called Super Bowl of Stitches, and it was an all-day event, and they would have somebody come and teach a project, and they would have lunch, and they would have door prizes, and they would have a raffle, and they would have all kinds of stuff. It was like it was an all-day event. It was a lot of fun. And this is one of those projects. One of the local teachers that my chapter really liked is a lady named Margaret Bendig. And this is one of her projects. And it's called Renaissance. And it has a needle book, and that's a frame weight. And because Margaret herself is mostly a needle pointer and a scissor fob. I think I'm going to use it as a pin cushion more than a frame weight because clearly I'm a cross stitcher, not a needle pointer. So this is the project that I chose, and my phone is hungry. Excuse me for a second. Let me feed my phone. There we go. Alright, so that's the project I chose. And when I pulled it out, I'm covering up the, I'm covering up my progress. When I pulled it out, I had just about that entire row done. I think I needed to add some more of the leaves, or I needed to add a little bit more of that row of flowers. And then so I pulled this out, and this is my this is my referral. I gotta go get some blood work done. This is my lab referral. I pulled it out in November. I did 400 stitches in November, and I've done almost 200. I'm almost at 200 for this month, but that's how far I got on it. And see, I put the date in there, so now I'm committed. I gotta finish it next year. I've been kind of skipping around. All of these blank spaces here are where the lettering goes. It says my soul is fed by needle and thread, but it's all over one. Future Laurel is going to hate the fact that I've been putting this off. So I'm going to have to get in there and do some of it because Future Laurel will not thank me. These little flowers in here, they're really pretty, but it's a specialty stitch called Italian two-sided cross stitch, and it's a pain in the butt. I do not like it. It's pretty, but it's a pain in the butt to stitch. So I've been putting those off too. And I've been kind of sticking to the easier things. This is a long arm cross stitch, this row under here underneath the flowers. I did the date, got to fill in the background on the side. This is the word bye that goes in here. And then the rest of it continues. So that's where I got to on that one. I'm going to do a little more stitching on it, finish up that 200, and then we'll see. I have some other pieces that I want to work on before the year ends to get them ready for next year. Or to fill in WIP squares. So Zombie Run, the first level of Zombie Run to finish it is 134 miles. And I ended last month, oh, that's what I meant to tell you about November Zombie Run. I did 17 miles on November Zombie Run. I think I did 12 or 13 miles on Victorian Village. And doing, back stitching and back stitching those 4 ornaments. I think I did 12 or 13 miles on it. I did 17 miles on Zombie Run. Or 14 maybe. Yeah. So I'm at 128 miles out of 134. So I think this month I might just do the 6 that I need to get to 134 and stop. I've done 2. When I finish this one, this will be 3, so I just need 3 more. And I think I might do that and not do the whole 12. Because I have other things to do, and I'm running out of time. So, yeah. And then, so that's my Margaret Bendig. She has another piece of that, when I finish, that piece is called Renaissance, and when I finish that, I'm going to replace it with another piece called Stitcher's Kit, which is like a little, you do the outside, and then when you finish it, you put in, like, pockets where you can put your scissors and your needles and all your little tools and stuff. So, that's what we'll replace that one. And then I pulled this out because, so y'all know I went to Arkansas last summer to see Vicki Hartwell reading and stitching, and Vicki likes to watch Hallmark movies, and so, and they're cute, they're easy to stitch to, they're fun, they're predictable, but they're easy to watch. They're enjoyable. Um, so I've been watching them because Hallmark is playing them 24/7 right now, and I felt like I need a Christmas piece. Like if I'm watching Christmas movies, it's December. Normally, I would have started a Christmas piece. I would have found a Christmas ornament, or I would have started something Christmassy. I have one more candy cane poo ornament to do. I got to do Eeyore, and I would have done that. But I'm doing no new starts. The official no new starts challenge is over already. It ended on December 13th. Um, so by their standards, I could have started something, but I'm in sort of an unofficial challenge with a group of friends, and we're not ending until January 1st. So I gotta wait till January 1st. Um, so, and I'm really ready for it to be over. I'll tell you, I'm ready for no new starts to be over. I'm ready to start something. I can wait. It's only like at this point, it's like a week, 2 weeks, little less than 2 weeks. I can wait, but I'm ready for it to be over. So can't start anything. I only have one Christmassy WIP. I finished my ornaments. Can't work on those. I only have one other Christmassy WIP. And of course, that's my handsome boy, my Teresa Winsler, under the evergreen. And so, uh, Daily 30 is having a challenge to trim the tree. And you work on a WIP that has something that you could use as a Christmas ornament. Hello, this has a tree. It's got candy canes. It's got gingerbread. It's got all kinds of stuff. So I did 200 stitches on this for that event. I might try to get some more stitches in it, put another 100 stitches or 200 stitches in it. Um, my original goal, who knows if I'm going to make it, was to finish this down to the top of his head and fill in this little bit down here at the top of his head, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 450, 500 stitches together, including the 200 that I've done. There's 100 stitches here and 100 stitches there, and what's left of that square, and a little bit, the partial squares right here above his head. So it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 450, 500 stitches. So I did a little bit of work on that. I call him my handsome boy because the rocking horse is just so cute. This is going to be a big focus piece next year. I'm using this for a lot of challenges next year. So this will get some attention next year. And I think that's everything that I've stitched on. Yeah, I think that's everything that I stitched on. Um, like I said, plans. There's only 2 weeks left. I wanna finish the first page of um, the Three Things sampler. I think it needs like 200 or 300 stitches, maybe. Of course, I thought that 300 stitches ago, and it still needs some more work. But I'd like to finish that for my WIPGO square. I want to finish the trunk on the tree of my temperature tree, so that I can do the branches next year. Um, that's also in my plans for next year. Um, and then I need to finish 3 more miles on Zombie Run to get the 134 miles. And that's honestly probably about all I have time for. I don't know that I'm going to have time for a lot more than that, especially with the way that I don't stitch. Um, so it's hard to believe the year is almost over, right? Um, but I'm off work until January 3rd, so I've got all the time that I want to stitch. I'm trying to do some house cleaning because my house is a disaster. Um, so I'm trying to do some cleaning up and decluttering and making my house like presentable. I need management to come in here, and I can't get management in here because yeah. It's a disaster. Um, so that's the plan for the rest of this year. I'm going to do another video, probably not today, but maybe sometime later this week or next week, closer to the end of the year maybe, with my 2021 wrap up and my 2022 plans. So in that video, I'll talk about all of my stitching for the year, and I'll talk about the groups for next year and the challenges for next year and my goals for next year and all of that kind of stuff. So, and then I'm also going to do WIP parade. Some of my friends on Virtual Stitchers were asking for WIP parade, and I was like, but I just did one. And then I went back and I looked, and I'm like, oh, I did one at the beginning of 2019, which was 3 years ago. So I guess it's been a little while. So I'll go and do a WIP parade. Which will be shorter than the one in 2019 because I have fewer WIPs than I had in 2019. Thankfully. I just made a WIP list, and I have 29 WIPs. Well, that's not true. I have a few more than that. There's a few that I didn't put on that list. So if I count everything that I have, I might have like 34, 33, 34. So, but, the WIP list that I'm stitching off of next year has 29 on it. Alright, stash. Get some tea. Get yourself a cup of tea. Get yourself some stitching. I weeded it down to, like, the highlights, because I got a lot of stuff. Maybe I'll show some of it in another video. If I showed it all, we'd be here for another hour, and nobody needs to listen to me talk for another hour. So, I got a couple of gifts, which was very, very sweet, and I was very thankful and appreciative that my friends think of me enough to gift me. So that was very nice. Stitch West. You guys, I'm sure you guys have seen this on Vicky's channel and Sammy's and Sarah's channel. At Stitch West, Vicky made us all bags. And this is Vicky Gable at Stitch and Button on Facebook and Instagram, Etsy. Stitch, the letter N, Button. And she has these bags for sale with different things on them. But she made one for each of us at Stitch West. And it says Virtual Stitch Westies. And it has, the heart is like velvet. And then she put our names on them. So she has these in her shop with different things on them. And the one that I want, and I'm not going to get it because I have one of the bags already, and I don't really need another bag. It says ABC, always bring cross stitch. And I'm like, I love that bag so much, but I'm not going to get it because I already have this one. I don't need another one. So she gave us these. And she put some goodies in them. And then we went to Stitchery Express. And when you shop at Stitchery Express, they give you a black shopping bag. They give you your purchases in a black shopping bag that looks like this. Well, she collected them all, and she's like, "I'm gonna come up with something to do, and I'm gonna send them back to you." So what she did is it says Weekend of Laughter with Great People, Stitch West 2021. So I got that as well. And when I was there, Sammy gave us all a little goodie bag, and Sarah gave us one. And I was a slacker. I did not do one. But like there were socks and there was stitching tools. Sammy had a snag nabbit in hers, and like there was just all kinds of stuff. Just they're great. There was all kinds of stuff. and we had a and I know that they've all talked about this on their channels, but there was a free table, and so we all brought stuff for the free table. But before we took it to the free table, we went through it. We went through it ourselves so we could pick out what we wanted of each other's stuff. So we all got a bunch of stuff from each other. I got a bunch of stuff from them, um, which I think is in the other room. I didn't even bring it, but uh, I got a bunch of stuff from them, and then we went to Shepherd's Bush. We went to Stitcher Express. Got a lot of stuff. And most of this is kind of, well, here's some of the stuff that I got at Stitcher Express. Stitcher Express, of course, most of this is kind of random. Some of it's from there, some of it's stuff that I bought on Facebook or from other vendors. Um, Stitcher Express, of course, is the home of Fabric Flare. And so Vicki at Stitch and Button was starting Garden Prelude last year. There's Garden Prelude by Mirabilia. And she was playing on the Fabric Viewer one night, which I think has already been taken down. Dana said she was going to take it down at some point this month, and I think maybe she already did, which is very sad because the Fabric Viewer was very helpful. But I also understand Dana's point of view. She's been running this Fabric Viewer for the better part of 20 years. She's put a lot of time into it and a lot of money into it, and it's just a lot of work for her, and, I think she gets a lot of pushback and a lot of complaints and a lot of, she's had a lot of problems with it too, and she's like, okay, it's time for it to go. So she decided to shut it down. I understand where she's coming from, but it's very sad because it was a very useful tool, and she did a wonderful job of keeping it up. So Vicki was playing on the Fabric Viewer one night looking for what she was going to stitch Garden Prelude on. And one of the options that she had that she liked, and I liked it, was, and she ended up not choosing it. She ended up choosing something different. But this is Moni's Field by Fabric Flare. So, and I really like that one. So when I was at Stitcher Express, I'm like, let me make sure to get some of this. And then I got the Garden Prelude chart to go with it. So I got that. And then we were going through the Fabric Flare fabrics, which, if you've ever been to Stitcher Express is a warehouse. It's not like Shepherd's Bush or like the Silver Needle, where they've got everything displayed nicely. Stitcher Express is a warehouse where everything's in bins, everything's just stacked. It's not set out pretty like the Silver Needle. So the Fabric Flare, it's on shelves and it's just stacked and it's labeled like this is this count, and like these are forest fabrics, and these are scenery, and these are winter, and these are whatever the theme is, and you just kind of have to thumb through it. Well, I came across this music note fabric, and I was like, this is perfect, because when I was looking at the charts, and I only have 2 of them here, but I had picked up all 4 of the Sigma sampler. These are only 2, but I have all 4 of the Sigma sample charts by Silver Creek. And I was like, hey, look at that. And I think it's going to be good because these are busy, but this is not too busy. It's got the music notes on it, but it's not too much. So I think it's going to be okay. So I was excited about that. I'm hoping it's going to be okay. But I was like, how perfect is that? And I was glad she had all 4 of them, because if you go on 123 Stitch, 123 Stitch is always missing at least one. Like they have 1, 2, and 3, but you can't get number 4. They got 1, 2, and 4, and you can't get number 3. Cindy had all of them. This, okay, so these two go together. This I bought on Facebook. Um, I've been collecting these Butternut Road charts. Just, I don't know, after I started stitching Raspberry Homecoming, I just started like collecting all these Butternut Road charts. So I saw this one. This is Winter Sampler by Butternut Road. And I'm sure this is from the 90s. And, oh, I think I looked it up and it's from 1997, I think. But it has, look at this thread list, you guys. It has Karen watercolors, DMC Medici wool, which, fun fact, has been discontinued. Mill Hill beads, Rainbow Gallery Nordic gold, Rainbow Gallery Santa's bearded suit, and then 3mm craft beads, and oh, and then it says use a brush to brush the fur. So I'll probably end up replacing the Medici wool with Janlynn art wool. And then I'm kind of concerned that these Karen watercolors have been discontinued, but hopefully not. Like not the line, but the colors. So I have that, and it's pretty. It's stitched on 18 count over 2, so as it's stitched, it's pretty large. And then I was on there a different day. Let me open this up. I was on there a different day, and they had the Summer Sampler by Butternut Road. This was done, I think this was done in 2003, I think. But the seller for the Summer Sampler was including fabric. This is 28 count. It's a full fat quarter of 28 count. And she included all of the watercolors. Oh, these are wildflowers. These are not watercolors. These are wildflowers. And this is also, it calls for 18 count linen, stitched over 2. Which I might do that. I might put this in my stash and stitch it on 18 count as called for, because when you look at these, they might be a little bit thick for 28 count. Like one strand of this is thicker than one strand of DMC, and it might be kind of tight on 28 count. So I don't know. Actually, I think one strand of this is thicker than 2 strands of DMC. So I might just put this fabric in my stash and get the 18 count for both of these. But this is on both of these are on my list of possibilities to start next year. I have this whole long list of possibilities for next year. And the truth is I'll only do a fraction of them. There's probably 30 things on that list, and I'll probably only do like 8 or 10 of them. We'll see which 8 or 10. I don't have any idea. I have a few ideas, but, you know, who knows. Okay. And then I got some out of print Blackbird stuff that I've been getting from Facebook. I got It's Berry Time. And this one I don't think this one is out of print. I don't know. I don't think this one's out of print. This is Feliz Navidad. I was kind of confused. So, back in 2019, I went down to Long Beach. Gary Hovatter from Sunshine Stitches and Garon Totten Bags, Garon Stitchery, was in California, and he was going to be at the needlework shop down in Long Beach. So I went down there to see him, And I remember that he was kitting this up. I think this is what he was kitting up. And he liked it because it says Merry Christmas on the... Let me put that away. It says Merry Christmas in English on the top, and it says Feliz Navidad in Spanish on the bottom. So, you know, it represents him and Ronnie, English and Spanish. And I could have sworn this is what he was kidding up. But then when I was watching his video several weeks ago, he was talking about starting it, or he was talking about buying fabric for it. And I'm like, wait, I thought you were kidding that up when I saw you. So I was a little confused, but I got that. I got this. Oh, well, let's do this one first, because I think there's more to this under here. I got this from Cindy at Stitchery Express in Utah. This is Mirabilia Queen Bee. I did not get fabric for her. No idea when I'm going to start her. No idea what I'm going to stitch her on. But I got her. I got this from Stash and Load. This is not Butternut Row. This is Lavender and Lace. But this is Angel of Light. This is the first one, I think. I think there's two of these. And then this is Angel of Hope. And I actually don't like very many of these angels. There's a few that I like, but not very many. But somebody stitched this recently. I'm like, that's really pretty. So I got those two. Some of them I don't like their faces. And some of them I don't like their dresses. So, I don't get very many of those. So this I got from the free table at Stitch West. This is 40 count Lakeside linen and vintage basket weave. And it's kind of an odd size piece, but you know, I'll find something to do on it. You can do an ornament on it or do, you know, something. 9 by 24. What's that later? Let's see what else is there. Let's talk about some of these, well, actually, let's talk about a couple of gifts that I got. So, it's down there. I am subscribed to Informed Delivery by the United States Postal Service. You can go on there, you register, you put your address, and you can go on the website and they will email you each day with images of what you can expect to be in your mailbox that day and packages. So I'm on there one day and there's this mystery package coming from Louisville, Texas. And I'm like, what's that? And I went to my PayPal because I'm like, I think I've received everything that I've ordered. Like, I don't think I have any outstanding packages. And I'm like, Louisville, Texas is where 123 Stitch moved to. They moved out of Utah. They moved to Louisville, Texas. And I'm like, I think that's 123 Stitch. Somebody must be sending me something because I did not order anything. And so I was on Virtual Stitchers one night, and I haven't asked permission to use her name, but somebody said, "Oh yeah, that was me. I sent you a present." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And so what she sent me, well, first of all, this is a project bag that I got from Vic at Stitch and Button. It's so pretty. I'll show you the inside. Um, there's the inside. So that's pretty. What she sent me was Quaker Christmas 2 by Bygone Stitches. And she sent me all the thread. I'm putting it upside down. She sent me all the thread. I was like, ah, thank you. She's very sweet. Because I know that cost her a pretty penny. She's very sweet. Also, tip for you. So, I've known for a while that you can get Bygone Stitches charts from the cottage needle on Etsy, but I was kind of leery about it because I wasn't sure if they were legit. I didn't know if Cottage Needle had permission to be selling these PDFs. They're PDFs. They're selling PDFs of Bygone Stitches art. The Bygone Stitches, of course, is out of print because the lady who designed them passed away. And so I'm like, I don't know that I want to buy these because I don't know how legit they are. So there's a website on here, and the website is stitchingpretty.com, and they carry stuff from several designers. It's like a group of designers, but Bygone Stitches is one of them. And so I emailed the lady at the website, and I asked her, "Hey, the Cottage Needle on Etsy is selling these as PDFs. Is this, are they allowed to do that?" And she said, "Yeah, they're legit. We've been working with them for years. It's fine. They're legit." So I was like, "Okay, cool," because they also sell One Nation, and they sell other Bygone Stitches charts that I might be interested in at some point in the future. So like Quaker Christmas 1. um, I was like, okay, good to know. So then I emailed the lady at Cottage Needle and I said, "Hey, do these work on Pattern Keeper?" And she said, "Well, most of our charts do, but the Bygone Stitches ones do not." Which makes me think that it's probably a scan of a paper chart and not really a PDF. So there's a piece of information for you. Cottage Needle is legit, but their Bygone Stitches PDFs do not work on Pattern Keeper. Because I thought, if they worked on Pattern Keeper, I might buy the PDF just because it would be easier. But if they don't work on Pattern Keeper, then I'll just stitch them off the paper. We've gotten so spoiled. So thank you to my friend for that, for the sweet gift. And then this other gift I got down here, which it fell on the floor. Let me try to. So the we went to Stitcher Express, and they were totaling up my bill, and it was getting to be kind of high. And so I was like, I'm gonna have to. And remember, I had already been to Arkansas. I had already gone to 2 shops with Vicky and spent a bunch of money. And we had been to Shepherd's Bush, and I spent a bunch of money at Shepherd's Bush. So then we got to the Silver Needle, and I'm like, let me not try to let me try to put some of this back and not really buy all this stuff. So I put a couple of things back because I'm like, I'll get them a different time. I've already spent a bunch of money. I don't need to. Well, Sammy and Vicky and Jen went back to the store the next day, and so when they got back, Sammy gave me this. This is one of the things I had put back, and she bought it for me. So thank you, Sammy. This is another lavender lace. This is Mother's Tree, which I think I will probably put on a different fabric. But so I can get, both my grandparents did genealogy, and so I think my uncle has the information or knows the information. I know some of it, but I can go back several generations. So that was a gift from Sammy. All right. So let's talk about some of these other. So much stuff and not really a lot of space. Okay. So this is a bag I got from Garan because it's Christmas and it's flamingos, and I tagged Sarah at Our Stitching Kingdom, and I don't think she got it, but I did. And I decided I was trying to think of a project to put in here. And I decided the perfect project to put in here is Pretty Little Los Angeles by Satsuma Street. Because this bag is very Los Angeles. It's got the flamingos, and it's got the Christmas ornaments, and it's got the palm leaves, and it just is very California, Los Angeles. So I do not have Pretty Little Los Angeles started, but I have it kitted, and so I think it will go in this bag. Alright. I also bought some other bags and some other stuff from Garan, but I'm not going to show those in this video. I also had some fabric that I got from Fortnite for my Fabric of the Month. Not going to show it. I canceled my Bag of the Month subscription, though. I have enough, and, you know. One of the things about Bag of the Month is sometimes you get stuff you don't like, and so I'm like, I've been in it a year and a half, and it's time to stop, so I canceled it. Which was sad, but I think I'm gonna join a thread club, or, I'm gonna join something different. I don't know what yet, but I'm thinking, though, that Laura Reed at Slovak Farm has a thread club, and I might join that. It's similar to, Trisha at 3 All Threads has a thread club. Laura has a similar club. And so I might join that. Where it's not, she's not dyeing the thread. It's Gas and Weeks and Classic Colorworks and, like a stash builder kind of thing. So let's talk about vendors at Stitch West. I have something else that I wanted to show with this, but I'll have to look for it. So they had some door prizes at Stitch West, and they had them all out on the back table, and they had this one wrapped, and you could tell it was a project bag. Like, it was flat, it was the size of a project bag, you could tell it was a project bag. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what that is. I'd like to see that. I hope I win that. Well, it turns out I won it. Let me open this. It turns out that I won it. And this is what it is. There's the back of it. So it's a fall theme. And then here's the inside. Her name is Jennifer. The lady. This is by Cricklewood Crossings. The lady's name is Jennifer. She's Australian. She's living in Utah, and she was at Stitch West. She's very, very sweet. She does the machine embroidery on the inside, and it's got a little matching zipper pull, and it's got a little heart here. This is made with love, and so it's very nice. And it was funny because I had been at her booth the previous day and looking at her. She also has some needle minders, and she has some thread keeps. And I had been looking at the thread keeps, and I was kind of, I think this was on Saturday night, or Friday night. I don't know what night it was. I had been kind of going around to all of the booths, and I kind of wanted to see all of the booths before I decided what I was going to buy. So I hadn't bought anything yet because I was still kind of looking and deciding, okay, what am I going to get? And this is one of the things I had been looking at, but I hadn't bought it. And it turned out that when I won the project bag, it came with it. And it's a thread keep. It says Queen of the Needle. Queen of Cross Stitching. Queen of Cross Stitching. I was like, that's the one that I was looking at. And then it came with a needle minder. I was like, how cool is that? So this is Jennifer at Cricklewood Crossings, and she's on Etsy, I believe, and Instagram. I should maybe know this, but I don't. I apologize. But I know I'm pretty sure she's on Instagram. But that's what I got from her. I'll figure it out, and I'll put the links below, because that's only fair. So this is from a lady who came to Stitch West from Germany. I think she traveled the farthest. And her company, her name is Rika, and her company is House of Stitch and Stash. And so I got this fabric from her. This is 36 count, which 36 and 40 kind of intimidate me. But I get that's not really showing that true. I'm a hot mess, you guys. Let's see if this makes it better. I don't know that that helps, but it's called Sandy Beach, and I thought it was pretty, and so I got it. She had a lot of pretty colors there, but I was a little bit. I only got one. Part of it was because I was dithering, and some of them had sold while I was trying to make up my mind, and part of it was because she had a lot of 36 and 40 count, and I was kind of like, oh. But I got the 136 count. And she's on Instagram as well, House of Stitch and Stash. I got this from a seller on Facebook. I don't even know who I got it from. But this is Judith Kirby number 10. I also got Judith Kirby number 9, which is the Halloween one of the Halloween ones. I didn't know that there were two. I was watching. I didn't bring the Halloween one with me, but I did get number 9. I didn't know there were two Halloween ones, and you can stitch them together to make one scene. Number 9 and number 15. I was watching Reading and Stitching's WIP Parade, which she's doing as her Flossmas vlog, and it's fantastic. You should go watch it. She's doing a giveaway. Count how many WIPs she has. Go through all her videos and count how many WIPs she has. And email her the number of what you get, how many WIPs. And she will give a prize to someone who guesses the correct number. And she was, so I got number 9. Don't have number 15. Vicky was saying there's a shop, and I thought it would be on the back of it, but it's not. There is a shop that Judith Kirby's family gave permission to reproduce her charts to. And if you call that shop, they will send you the chart. You do not need to pay out of print prices for Judith Kirby charts. I do not know what shop it is. Vicky knows. Does it say on here? I do not know what shop it is. But there's a shop that will send you a Judith Kirby chart if you call them and ask them for it. At a normal price. They're not charging out of print prices for it. This is something else that I got from Vicky Gable. Eat, sleep, stitch, repeat. I give Vicky Gable a lot of money, I'm telling you. Alright. There was another vendor there named Jordan, and her company, or her site is called Jordy's Handmade, and she was selling project bags. And so I got this one from her. Actually, I'm missing one of the ones that I got from her. And I got this one from her. And she was having a sale at the end of, I think on Sunday night, she was having a sale that if you bought 2 bags, you got a small one free. And I don't have the small one with me. And it worked out perfectly because I couldn't decide what to get, and that deal let me get everything that I wanted. So, I don't have the small one with me, but I did get one of her smaller bags. So I got the Santa and the wheat. And these are, let's see what size these are. I think they're maybe a little tiny bit bigger than Vic's bags. But these are from Jordy's Handmade, and I will link her. I will find the link to her page and put it on there. I got another bag from Vic, and a chart that she sent me, the Erica Michaels Scary Berry. And I just thought the cord was cute. I need to find some sort of appropriate themed chart to put in there. Project to put in there. I told you there was a lot, and this is like not even like scratching the surface of all the stuff I've gotten since I saw you last. Live and Die LA, Valerie Parker. She lives like 30 miles from me. She's right here in LA, as the name might suggest. She was having a sale. I think it was before Black Friday, and like on a Friday night, her Thank Goodness It's Fabric Friday, or Thank Goodness It's Friday Fabrics, or whatever she calls it. And so I bought some stuff from her. I don't have a lot of it here, but I bought a bunch of thread from her, and I bought one piece of fabric. Actually, it was before Halloween. It was before Black Friday. It was Halloween because she was selling trick or treat fabric and thread. Which she had one of each, a trick fabric and a trick thread and a treat fabric and a treat thread. And I just got the 2 threads. I didn't get the 2 fabrics. And I got some of her other threads. And then I got one piece of fabric. And this is the piece of fabric I got. It's called the Deep. And it's a very dark purple. And it's very, very pretty. It's sort of begging for like a Mirabilia. Or Halloween. It would be good for Halloween too. So I got that. It's a 1/4 yard. Fat quarter. I bought a mystery box from her, and I haven't received it yet. I'm kind of waiting for it. No, this isn't it. Is it in here? I'll put it in here. No, I did not. Oh, here's something that I got at Shepherd's Bush. I got the little pair of daisy scissors at Shepherd's Bush. I thought maybe the threads were in there, but they're not. So I got that. And this is the last thing I have here. Actually, I want to show you this one more thing if I can find it. So I've talked about this before. The cross-stitch needlework. No. The group is called Homespun Samplers, parentheses, cross-stitch and needlework. I think I still have that wrong. It's called Homespun Needlework, parentheses, cross-stitch and samplers. They do these exclusive deals with designers, or sometimes with a shop. And I've discovered sometimes it's a deal that the designer did with the shop that they're just, they're promoting. And that's what this was. This was a exclusive deal that Summer House Stitchworks did with Acorns and Threads that they promoted in this group. And they give you the link and you can go on the shop website and order it. And so I got this one. And this one is called Emily's Bliss. And so that's what that is. And it says, every leaf speaks bliss to me. I got that one. They have another one that I got that I don't think I showed. It was an exclusive between Blackbird and, maybe I showed it, between Blackbird and Traditional Stitches called What Remains is Love. I think it's called What Remains, but it says What Remains is Love. I got that one. That one's closed now. I think this one might be closed now too. But so I've gotten 4 or 5 of these exclusives now, and my new start one is going to be one of those. That's going to be the hands-on design one. But I think I might try to work one or two of the others into my plans for next year. Let me see if I can find this last thing that I want to show you, and then I will stop rambling. And I'm making a mess here. Here, this is what I wanted to show you. This also comes from Jennifer at Cricklewood Crossings. This is the scissor fob that I bought from her. And I actually bought one for each of my friends too, for Sammy and Sarah and Vicky. So it has a pumpkin on the bottom of it, but it matched the bag really well. So that's why I chose this one, because it matched the bag that I went for. So I got that. So we're at an hour and 15 minutes of Laurel rambling. So I will be back before the end of the year, or maybe the 1st or 2nd of January, with a wrap-up video and plans, and also a WIP parade. So I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're staying well, and having a good Christmas season. Merry Christmas, and have a fantastic 2022. And I'm excited to have another year of stitching and another year of challenges, and for No New Starts to be over. I'm really excited for No New Starts to be over. And I look forward to seeing you all next year. So, bye!